welcome.
Good morning, everyone.
So we are beginning in our Mother Rising community. We're beginning a new trimester, a new teaching topic, a new focus, and we're bringing in the energetics of parenting. And we realized how little that is spoken about, and how little even women who are very familiar with energy work, like energy healing or the energy of manifesting the kind of abundance you want and just working with energy in our lives, how little they are thinking about that in relation to parenting specifically.
Yeah, there's even quite a lot of talk about it in romantic relationship with polarity and tantric practice and that sort of thing. And so that's kind of the same field, relationship, but it never makes it down into parenting, which is crazy because in parenting, well, everywhere, I guess, but in parenting, it's incredibly powerful.
It's actually like the biggest needle mover out of everything. It's
yeah,
the way that we work with energy, our awareness of our energy, and the way that we
consciously choose to work with it and use it
and cultivate it and move it around it's the bedrock, and it's so much more powerful than all of the
formulas,
strategies and like I was reflecting when we were getting ready for this new phase of teaching that we want to share with the women in our community, reflecting on over my years of parenting, out of all the things that I've read and all the things that I've tried to implement and like do to make a difference in my parenting, the things that really stuck with me and that I actually like embodied and took on and that stayed with me and that made significant differences in the ways that I was relating with my children and the way I was relating with myself as a mother.
That were the needle movers.
Yeah, they were all energetic practices. They were all practices in the way that I show up in my energy, well beyond like things that I said or things that I remembered. It was all the energy practices. So they're the things that really matter.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet we're not having that conversation. We're not even having that conversation in terms of the dynamic of connection, the energetics of connection. And connection itself is like an energetic thing. It's like, it's interesting that we focus on the doing. The discussion, the conversation in parenting is still on predominantly what we do. And not how we be and who we are. And when we brought this, we asked the question, we're like, okay, and I'll ask you now, anyone who's watching this replay or live, what are your burning questions about energetics in parenting? What do you want to know? What jumps up when I say that? We really want to know. And the reason we want to know is we're writing curriculum now. Like we're writing the next 3 months of teaching material. And so we brought it to our community and we asked them, what are your burning questions? Because we want to know so that we can make sure we build it into the material. And it was really fascinating for me to read the responses and notice how many of our women, and I would consider our women fairly new agey, spiritually new paradigm-y type women, went straight to physical energy. And I need more physical energy. I'm exhausted.
Which makes sense. It's
well, we
like
get
the
it,
lowest common denominator.
We get that.
Mothers with young children.
Yeah, totally. We get it. As someone who is horribly sleep deprived, I get it. But it was interesting to me that the idea of energetics in our parenting and understanding the setting of energy, the projection of energy, the receiving of energy, the interpreting of energy in our relationships with our children didn't even come up on the radar for pretty much most of them. Yeah, I found that really interesting and a little bit surprising. And so we're bringing it here out onto our public page for the same reason. What would you love to hear? Like, where does this conversation need to go? What do we need to be talking about?
And so what would you love to hear like given what we have talked about and given what you do know about energy and transposing that into parenting, but also what would you love to hear to help you really get how important it is to bring energy into parenting, or even to get why it's so applicable? Like if you're still a bit like, seems a bit vague to me, or
and
how does it even apply to me? Like,
I get that, and I suppose it's not that much of a surprise. I remember when my eldest daughter was a baby, and so before I had other children, she's my first, and I remember sitting in a park up in Katoomba, and she was probably, I don't know, 2, maybe. It was like one of the mothers, park mothers meets, we all do it. She was running around playing, and I remember I was reading a book called Everyday Blessings by Jon Kabat-Zinn, and he actually teaches mindfulness and meditation. Like, he's a world-renowned teacher in that subject. And I was reading his parenting book, and it got to this part where this sentence so resonated with me, that talked about how parenting and your day-to-day interactions with your children can be a really profound spiritual practice. And at the time, I was like, that resonated. Like, I went, oh, yeah, I totally get that. And then I straight away went, but I don't have time for that right now. I can't use that right now. I need answers for how to get my daughter to sleep through the night. Or, like, that's exactly where my mind went. And I just dismissed it. Even though inside me, there was this ding, 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 ding. Like, this is important, pay attention. And it took me a while until I moved forwards. In fact, it was when my son was born and I had some real amazing experiences. I was studying natural horsemanship, which is really about cultivating relationship and the energy that you work with horses. And I was doing a lot of work at liberty with horses, which means that they're not on a rope or a rein or anything. They could walk off and ignore you if they wanted to, like, out of here. And how do you direct them with your energy? And it wasn't until I started to have those experiences and then bring that to my children, accidentally at first, I'm going to share all those stories later some other time, that I realized, holy moly, holy crap, this is the biggest needle movers. It's not memorizing the thing I need to say and the strategy I need to do and how do I get my child into the car seat and all, like all the doing. The needle movers were in how I was working the energy in the moment. So
and how consciously connected to the energy we are. We have some comments.
Yay! Thank you for commenting, everyone, and good morning to everyone who's coming, because we were a little quiet last week. We're like, we lost everyone, where are you? And this is important to us to hear what it is you want us to be talking about. So this is awesome. I want to feel lighter. I hear that. Yeah.
We've heard that a lot, so we really need to bring that in.
That's coming. We'll have to do a whole live on that topic.
Yeah.
I think people need to hear, see, and feel the positive effects within their families. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Both of those comments to me point a little bit to the receiving side of energy. Just what's popping up straight away. So often we think, even when people get into the energetics of parenting, where do they go first? They go to projecting their energy, don't they?
Yeah, what's the energy that I bring?
Yeah.
That I bring to the relationship.
Yeah. And there's heaps to be taught about that. Like, there is the way that we set our energy, the way that we create congruency in our energy, which then shows up in the way that we lead.
It's often the first place to go where you see the most.
Yeah, so it's powerful. But receiving energy is incredibly, incredibly powerful, and actually is what creates the sustainability that we want in motherhood, the giving back. It takes out that whole idea of mothering is a thankless, unrecognized job. So the receiving of energy is a really huge one that I think we need to dive into in a big way too. Yeah. And we're already all working with energy. Like, we all know that, right? We're all in any relational situation working with the energetics. We're trying to understand and interpret the vibe in the room. We're trying to give off a certain vibe, whether it's I am patient, whatever it is. We're all working with energy. We might not be doing it as consciously as we could, and with as much intention, and we're diluting it. We're not being as powerful as we can. But the energetic conversation are huge needle movers. Huge.
They are. And Courtney, thank you so much for that suggestion, because I love that, because it's something that is a really good challenge for us and for anyone wanting to bring this more into the parenting conversation, is around how to show it in a tangible way, because that's, I guess, why all of the more relational stuff is focused on, because it is like right there, like this is how it happens in your family. It's not as we're bringing something a little more subtle out into the tangible.
Like often when we're coaching women, not so much these days, but certainly a few years ago, the conversation was always around communication strategies. A lot of conscious communication, a lot of conflict resolution, but even not, and you can talk energetics there too, but it was really around what do I need to say, what do I not say, like all those sorts of, it was that level. And it wasn't really until, well, it's only just really starting now, isn't it? But that we've started to talk, we've been talking about it for a while with private clients, a couple of years, around your energy and how you work your energy and how you receive energy. And I had a teacher who, in a completely different field, nothing to do with parenting at all, who encouraged me for a week, it was a challenge sort of thing inside a program I was doing, to receive more than I gave in a week. And we actually went into the energetics of all of this, but receive over 50%. And I remember at the time just being like, and I was thinking, I already was really conscious of receiving and its gifts and benefits, but I was still like, oh, really? How is that going to work in my week? I don't know how I can make that do. I did it, and it was like hugely needle moving. The power of receiving properly, because we deflect all the time. Sometimes we're not even present to receive what's being offered to us on the energetic levels, and even the tangible ones with our children. Really, are we?
Yeah. And the thing that I am most excited about the energetics of parenting and focusing there more than all the strategies that can be put on top, is that if you're really bringing all your energy to it, then it can be so subtle, and it doesn't actually take much time. It can be such a small thing that has so much far-reaching benefits. It's like the little things that you do. I guess that's what needle mover means, doesn't it? The little things you do that
ripple out and continue to expand and amplify and expand and amplify across the day. Like it just continues to build. And we see that time and time again with our private clients. When we talk to them, they're like, yep, I just did that in the morning in the shower. I just, whatever it is, set my intention or decided like what I was receiving, what I project, blah, 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 blah. Like they worked a bit of energy in a really casual way. And then they're like, and I don't think about it for the rest of the day. And I got to the end of the day and I was like, oh my God, it all happened. Like, it's really interesting. The other thing I love about energy is whenever you work at the energetic level, be it your health or your abundance or your relationship or whatever it is, you're working with the foundational building blocks, the very basic bottom common denominator, where you can really create that massive butterfly ripple effect.
Yeah.
Where so much can shift that you can't anticipate exactly how it's going to go down, because the possibilities are literally infinite for what direction it could go in. And energy, anything you put on top of it, like your values or your beliefs or your parenting strategies or your ethos or whatever, it can all sit on top of the energy work. It's not like it is directing you into a defined, this is how we parent sort of thing. Yeah?
Yeah, totally.
So you're always in your truth when you do it. So, if you are on replay, because we have lots of replay people, and we get that, and thank you everyone who's here. We really, really, really would love to hear what's popping up for you as we're speaking right now. Do you think it's not worthwhile? Do you think you don't have time for it? Do you think it's really important? Do you think, why have I never thought this? What are your questions? Where would you love to hear us speak more? What do you need in this area? Because all our sharing, and we are gearing up to do a heap of new stuff, is gonna be, it's better if it's what you want to hear. So tell us what you want to hear.
Exactly, Courtney. Yes.
Yes.
That's the crux of it.
That is. So Courtney said, just realised, because we're also on iTunes, which no one can see that comment. Would you say it's more of a way to be rather than something to do? Yeah.
And that means that what you do on top of that is vastly different. Like sometimes just saying something, but saying it when your energy is in a different place, it doesn't land in the way you intend. Like it, or you're not. It's not actually effective until you bring the energy in. Behind it.
Who you be is way more important than what you do. And what you do, if it isn't in alignment with what your energy is doing at the moment, then you're out of alignment and there's a lack of congruency. And I guarantee you'll see it in the way your children respond to whatever's going on, because they'll feel it. If you're congruent, then it's chalk and cheese. Yeah. Seriously, so different. Yes. Yay. Well, I think we're done. We wanted to keep it short today. Maybe, hopefully we have. I don't even know. Oh, we're not that short, as usual. Sorry about that. So.
It's lovely to connect with a few of you as well.
It was so lovely to see you here again today. Join in the conversation. Throw any and all. If you want to private message us, if you don't want to put in the thread, go for it. We are really, really wanting to hear what our community wants in this topic. Big time. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Enjoy your day.